It seems every day history is ready to be made, but this Sunday is a day that will be looked upon as an historic day without par.
We have breaking news here. President Biden has announced he will stand down from the race.
Now, there'll be much reported on here on Occupy Democrats and all over social media, but let's start by running down the earliest reactions to today's big news across the spectrum, from politicians and personalities alike. And the biggest ones come from both two-term American presidents, and we're going to show you that one in just a minute. But let's first check out some of the reactions across the social media horn of plenty. First, Elizabeth Warren was quick to post this: Joe Biden's presidency has been transformational. He's accomplished more in the past 4 years to bring back jobs, stand up to big corporations, and build an economy that works for all of us than we have been able to get done in the last 40. He deserves full credit for beating Donald Trump in 2020, and his selfless decision today gives us our best shot at doing it again in 2024. While Donald Trump tried to tear down our democracy to maintain his grip on power, Joe Biden willingly stepped aside in order to protect our democracy. President Biden's selfless action is a profound gift to the people of the United States, and it's on all of us not to waste it. I endorse Kamala Harris for president, and she is a proven fighter who has been a national leader in safeguarding consumers and protecting access to abortion. As a former prosecutor, she can press a forceful case against allowing Donald Trump to regain the White House. We have many talented people in our party, but Vice President Harris is the person who was chosen by the voters to succeed Joe Biden if needed. She can unite our party, take on Donald Trump, and win in November. Well, the internet is lighting up with reactions from all different folks in and out of politics. For example, Mark Hamill tweeted this earlier today at Joe Biden. He has a record of accomplishments unmatched by any president in our lifetime. He restored honesty, dignity, and integrity to the office after 4 years of lies, crime, and scandal, and chaos. Thank you for your service, Mr. President. It's now our duty as patriotic Americans to elect the Democrat who will honor and further your legacy. And House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries posted this reaction: President Joe Biden is one of the most accomplished and consequential leaders in American history. In less than one term, he rescued the nation from a once-in-a-century pandemic, brought the economy roaring back from the brink of recession, enacted consequential legislation for everyday Americans, and saved our democracy by defeating the insurrectionist-in-chief. America is a better place today because President Joe Biden has led us with intellect, dignity, and grace, and we are forever thankful. And Senator Bernie Sanders offered this post earlier: Joe Biden has served our country with honor and dignity. As the first president ever to walk a picket line with striking workers, he has been the most pro-working class president in modern American history. Thank you, Mr. President, for all that you have done. Bernie Sanders. And Representative Ted Lieu from California, he had this to say earlier: thrilled President Biden endorsed the most amazing and historic vice president in history for president, Kamala Harris. 40 years ago, I was the first member of Congress to endorse Harris for president. Vice President Harris will be the Democratic nominee, and she will win in November. And George Conway said this today earlier: Joe Biden is a patriot. He has selflessly served this nation with distinction for half a century and stepped forward to save it in 2020. We Americans again owe him our deepest thanks and respect for putting the country above all else once again. Thank you, Mr. President, said George Conway. But so far, the biggest and heaviest and most important endorsements came from former presidents Barack Obama and Bill Clinton. First, Bill and Hillary Clinton had this to say on their recent post: President Biden has capped his extraordinary career of service with a presidency that has lifted America out of an unprecedented pandemic, created millions of new jobs, rebuilt a battered economy, strengthened our democracy, and restored our standing in the world. By any measure, he has advanced our founders' charge to build a more perfect union, and in his own stated goal of restoring the soul of our nation. We join millions of Americans in thanking President Biden for all he's accomplished, standing up for America time and time again, with his North Star always being what's best for the country. We're honored to join the president in endorsing Vice President Harris, and we'll do whatever we can to support her. We've lived through many ups and downs, but nothing has made us more worried for our country than the threat posed by a second Trump term. He has promised to be a dictator on day one, and the recent ruling by his servile Supreme Court will only embolden him to further shred the Constitution. So now is the time to support Kamala Harris and fight with everything we can to elect her. America's future depends on it. And then there's this very powerful response from former President Barack Obama. In part, it says, Joe Biden has been one of America's most consequential presidents, as well as a dear friend and partner to me. Today, we've also been reminded again that he's a patriot of the highest order. 16 years ago, when I began my search for a vice president, I knew about Joe's remarkable career in public service. But what I came to admire even more was his character, his deep empathy, and his hard-earned resilience. He helped end the pandemic, created millions of jobs, lowered the cost of prescription drugs, passed the first major piece of gun safety legislation in 30 years. He made the biggest investment to address climate change in history and fought to ensure the rights of working people to organize for fair wages and benefits. Internationally, he restored America's standing in the world, revitalized NATO, and mobilized the world to stand up against Russian aggression in Ukraine. More than that, President Biden has pointed us away from the 4 years of chaos, falsehood, and division that had characterized Donald Trump's administration. I believe that Joe Biden's vision of a generous, prosperous, and united America that provides opportunity for everyone will be on full display at the Democratic Convention in August. And I expect that every single one of us are prepared to carry that message of hope and progress forward into November and beyond. For now, Michelle and I just want to express our love and gratitude to Joe and Jill for leading us so ably and courageously during these perilous times, and for their commitment to the ideals of freedom and equality that this country was founded on. Well, Jagger, as solidarity takes hold of a fractured campaign, maybe the pain of the last few weeks may well be replaced by an optimism that could be embodied by Vice President Harris. She is, after all, everything the MAGA fascists who just convened their doleful convention, everything that they hate with a passion. She's strong, she's smart, she's tenacious, she's multicultural in her heritage, and she married a nice Jewish guy. And she's young. Now, if they tell you they're licking their chops and she'll be a cakewalk to beat, that is fear talking. I mean, look at the GOP MAGA convention, then look at Vice President Harris. She's everything those old white Gilead ghouls hate, because she's everything they fear. She represents the future they dread. And in case you need reminding why, check this out.
Sick of this? Well, think about this. He's a world leader in temper tantrums. She never loses her cool. She prosecuted sex predators. He is one.
Grab him by the...
She shut down for-profit colleges that swindled Americans. He was a for-profit college.
At Trump University, we teach success.
Literally. He's owned by the big banks. She's the attorney general who beat the biggest banks in America and forced them to pay homeowners $18 billion. He's tearing us apart. She'll bring us together. This is Trump. And in every possible way, this is the anti-Trump. So if that's what you're looking for in your next president, there's really only one. Kamala.
Well, let's hope party unity prevails, and out of the chaos comes clarity. As Shakespeare said, some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. Well, Vice President Harris, she stands at the apex of history today, and if history is written by the victors, then we all need to stand with Harris. And together, from this moment forth, we will not let those bastards grind us down.